Good morning and welcome to another 1 hour build. You might not be surprised to know this is rock, paper, scissors that we're building. And we'll keep building it until we get to a good point with it. So without further ado, let's start with our tests. Proceed so we can use random values. Def module def. Further async. Create a canary test. Take a random value of true or false so we can see it failing and passing. And run the test. Yeah, we can pass it. Cool. Okay, so now the most important thing for us, we can describe game dot. We usually call this compare inputs, but I think it'd be better to call it evaluate. Inputs. And now we're going to do rock wins, and we can do assert evaluate rock scissors is equal to rock. Okay, that's going to fail because it's not defined. So now module game do def evaluate inputs. And I already know here what I'm going to do, so I'm going to pass this into a private function. But before I do that, I'm going to sort. So I'm going to do inputs, pipe that into enum.sort, and I'm going to pipe that into compare, which is going to be a def private function compare rock, scissors, and return rock. That makes that pass. In fact, what we can do here with these tests is we can create a whole bunch of tests in a loop. So we can do cases, and we want to have an array, and in there we're going to have inputs, which in this case are going to be rock, scissors, and we're going to have the expected output, which is going to be rock. And then we're going to want the opposite round, so we can just do num.reverse, and that's also going to be rock. And then we do for input, output from cases do. Now we're going to grab our test there and say inspect input. That will pipe to output. And then we'll assert that here we do. Oh, where's it gone? Hold up a new thing there. Pipe into output. Yeah, here we need unquote because this is a macro, and the input is equal to unquote output. Okay, so those two tests are passing. All right, and now we can copy both of those, go back there, and we're going to do rock, comma, paper. And that's going to be paper, paper. These are going to fail because we don't have any matching clauses. So then we do paper, rock, so it's an alphabetical order, and then paper wins. Yep, that's fine, cool. Move that there, and we want scissors, run again, it fails, cool. Compare paper, scissors to scissors, they pass, cool. And then what we need is in the new test, that new case, that is paper, comma, paper, and we get a draw. And also the same thing for rock, and the same thing for scissors, right? They should all fail, and now we need a catch-all clause here. So whatever we get there, we return a draw. Cool. So we've got 9 tests, they're all passing. Cool. We can collapse this block and do. So once we've evaluated our inputs, we need to describe game dot decide the winner. And this is going to take a choices map, and we're going to do the core test here is going to be test. In fact, we're going to have cases, aren't we? We're going to have a bunch of cases, and the test is going to be the same. So cases is equal to that, and the inputs are going to be we're going to get a map, and it's going to have a bunch of choices. So, and players making each choice. So we're going to have, for example, rock. And we're going to have player 1, and then maybe we'll have scissors, and we're going to have, that needs to be listed, yeah, player 2. And in that case, we need to get back a tuple that says rock's the winner, and the remaining players are player 1. Cool. Okay, so with that here, we can say for input, comma, output in cases do test inspect input do, and then we can assert that game dot decide unquote input is equal to unquote output. Okay, so this needs to be inspected as well. This needs to be macro that escaped as well. Cool. So we need a new function here, and that needs to be def decide choices. Okay, and what we need to do in here is, well, first of all, we can run that, and we can return exactly what it expects, which is rock, comma, p1. That's fine, cool, that's passing. So now we need some more cases here. So if we have paper, scissors, then it should return paper, p2. Cool. And let's add another case here. We have paper, rock, it should return p2. And if we have draw here, it should return a draw. Oh, so 3 of those are going to fail. And what we need to do now is replace that with actual logic. So we can do a case on evaluate. Then we're going to do choices, and we're going to pipe that into map.keys. So this will tell us all the keys we have in choices, which will be all the different choices. And there you go as the inputs to evaluate. And then we say if evaluate gives us draw, we return a tuple that is draw, comma, choices, and we'll pipe that into map.values. That'll give us all the players, and we need to just list.flatten, I believe. So we have 3 failing, but the draw case is now succeeding. I wonder if we remove list.flatten, do we still get, yeah, we get 4 failures because we have nested lists. Yeah, that's right, cool. So we do that, and then we do, if we get a winning choice, we return winning choice, comma, we'll do choices at winning choice. So we'll get the players and that. Cool. Let's double check our inputs then. So when we've got paper and scissors, oh no, paper and scissors should return paper. That should return scissors, right? Scissors, paper, and rock should return paper. And paper and rock should return paper, and that should be P1, P2. Cool, okay. Right, so that's all passing. So we have the core of our game logic there. Now, what else do we need? We need to think about a game loop, which means we need to handle the initialization because this is going to become a gen server process. And then we need to handle the messages in between this and players. So we're going to describe game dot. We're going to describe first of all start link to make sure that it can actually be started with a linked process. So we can do start game process do, and we can do all we need to do here is start supervised, comma, and we need the game and the args, which is going to be an empty array for now, I think. Okay, right, so that's fine. That fails as we expect it to, so we're going to use gen server, and we're going to just run that. Right, okay, start link doesn't do that, so we're going to pass it start link. Why is that not working? Anyway, we can do, instead of that, we can do keynote.start. We don't have keynote installed. Child game, that. Let's see if that works better. There we go, perfect. So this tells us we need our start link function because we're going to use it through keynote.start link anyway. So def start link args do gen server.start link. And we're going to do module, and we're going to have the unit args. And that will be, and in fact, we're going to give it a name. And we're going to say that the args need to be a map that include name, and that's going to be args. So we'll pass that there as args to our init function, and name's going to be, for now, I know I keep doing this and we shouldn't, but it works for us for now. String dot to atom. So we're just turning the name into an atom because we don't have a registry set up yet. Yep, and this needs to now be a map name. Okay, and we can do at tag name g1, and we can say. Only thing is we're using keynote.start child, and I think that's going to be a problem. Context. Yeah, I'm not going to do that actually. I'm just going to use start link. Actually, let's see. We'll see if it causes problems. It causes problems. At least we know it works. Right. Okay. So the next thing we do, describe game.init args do, and we're going to do an at module tag, I think, and we're going to do name is name because all of these functions are going to name is g1, and then that's not what I needed. I needed test. And now we're going to test the init function. So we're going to do let's return okay, comma state, and that's going to be game.init with context, and we assert state.name is equal to context.name. Why is that passing? Don't expect that to pass. Is that going to fail? Yeah, that fails. Perfect. Okay. So now we can return map, and I'm gonna actually make this a struct. So we're gonna do state, and in fact, no, we're gonna do this first. Name. Make sure that the function is passing. There we go. Cool. Right, so that's all doing its thing. Now I want to turn this into a struct called state. I'm going to do def module state do def struct. We're going to give it a bunch of things that it has. So that's going to be a name first of all. Okay, and then we can make sure here that we are actually getting a game.state. Cool. Okay. Now, what else does this need to do? It needs to keep track of the name. It needs to keep track of the players. So we can assert state these are going to be pending players. Players is equal to context dot players. Okay. Yep. So we have a bunch of issues here. First of all, we need to define players is going to be a list that is p1, p2. Right, we have some players. We need to add it to here. And then players, which will fix a bit of that error, and then it's no. So we need to make sure that here we do name players, and then players is players. Cool. Okay, so that's passing. What else do we need on here? We need to keep track of the choices. But we can always add to this anyway. But I know we're going to need state.choices is equal to it's going to be that. Yeah, it's just going to be an empty map at init. So that's going to fail. We add choices. And in fact, we can default choices to an empty map. Because we're not passing it into init. Cool. And we can do assert state.round is equal to 1. And again, we're going to give this round 1. Cool. Okay, so what else does the init function need to do? it needs to subscribe to its own topic so that the server can receive messages from players. Subscribes to game name topic context to. So for this, we're going to need some setup. And I think let's put it here for now and do setup context to. Setup needs to return OK, comma, context. And what we're going to do is we're going to need a pub sub. So we install a package called Phoenix pub sub. Okay. And we can put it in here. Pub sub name is test pub sub. And then we can do phoenix.pubsub. Can do start supervised, and that's going to be phoenix.pubsub, and the name's going to be at pubsub name. Okay, and what we need to do in our context, we need to no, that's not what we need. We need a map, and we're going to add to that. No, that's not going to work, is it? Because the keys aren't there yet. So we're going to do map.put. And the key is going to be subscribe. We're going to give it a function which is going to take a topic and is going to do Phoenix. And in fact, before it does that, I want it to Phoenix.pubsub.subscribe at pubsub name, and the topic's going to be the topic that we're given. And we're going to do io.bit, and we're going to say, I don't know who's called this, unfortunately. Do we? Or do we have? Oh, we have context. We have context, so we can say context name subscribing to topic, and that's just so that we get some visual idea of what's happening as well, which will help us later on. And we also want another map.put, and that's going to be broadcast, and this is going to be topic, message, and we're going to do phoenix.pubsub.broadcast at pubsub name, and that's going to be topic, message. And again, we're going to do io.put, and we're going to do context.name to, that's going to be topic, and it's going to send expect message. Okay, cool. Right, so we have both of those. 95. I've got a bad map. I'm sure that should return unit case where setup. Yeah, it should return OK in the map. Oh, yeah, that's why. Yeah, cool. Okay, so that context is unused there. We also need one more function up here somewhere. Def subscriber count topic do, and we're gonna do registry dot lookup at pub/sub name, because it's a registry. The key is gonna be the topic, and we're gonna pipe that into length. So what we want to do here is we start by asserting that subscriber count for the topic game context.name is equal to 0. Cool. Okay, and then we're gonna replicate. I'm gonna replicate that, and we're gonna assert it's 1, and then in here we're gonna do okay, comma state 8 equals game dot. Well, we don't need to use the state here. Is equal to game dot init with the context. Yeah, that's what we need. Cool. Okay, so now if in game.init we do subscribe, we can do subscribe dot that, and then we say game comma game colon name, and that should fix that. Okay. Oh yeah, because I think we need to move this setup further up so that we have the things in the context. Yeah, cool. Okay. Cool. Okay. So it needs to subscribe to the game, and it needs to test broadcast to itself to request inputs from players context. Okay, so here what we need to do is we need to subscribe ourselves So we can do context.subscribe, and what we need to do is we need to subscribe to game, comma, context.name, and then we're gonna assert receive, and all we require is request input, I think. So I'm gonna do okay, comma. In fact, we don't. Yeah, fine. Send to game.state is equal to game.init context. That. There we go. Okay, cool. So we're subscribed, the mailbox is empty, and then in our init, we do broadcast dot, and the topic is going to be, in fact, we're going to save that as, how can I get to that? There we go. Self topic equals that broadcast self topic, and the message is going to be request input. Okay, yeah, and we get broadcast from here. Okay, so yeah, that test is passing, but we do have an unexpected input in handle info, which is awesome. We can deal with that. So we can do, it's not part of init, but we can now describe handle info request inputs. And what we're going to do is I'll duplicate that, grab that from there, and we're going to say test. What do we do when we request inputs? We do something. We broadcast a message to all the players. Input request to all players context to. So we're going to need to make sure we subscribe to both the players. Subscribe, and it's going to be player hash. Oh, that's fine. It's going to be player P1, player P2. Although really what we should do is for player in context of player players do, and then we can do context of subscribe dot player hash. And then we can assert assert receive, and what we'll receive from here, we will receive play game is game name. That's all, but we will receive it twice because it should go to each of the player. And we subscribe to both. Okay, so now we do, this should return no reply, comma, game.state. And we can do game.handle info request input. And in fact, we can do game.init to get a state. Okay, comma state is equal to game.init context, because this will need the state. Okay, so that function is undefined, and now we can go here and we can do at info gen server def handle info request input, that's all it gets, and then we have state equals state, make sure we get the correct one there, we'll return a reply, comma, state. Cool. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so we're not subscribed and we're not sending the messages, which is exactly what we expect because we haven't implemented that. So what we're going to do is bear in state.pending players to, and we can do state.broadcast dot, and the topic is going to be player there, and the message is going to be play, comma, game is state.name. Cool. So that's all we're testing for at the moment. And we need to make sure that broadcast is actually in our state. So we add broadcast, and we need to set it here. Actually, that should be in our init state. So we can do assert state.broadcast is not nil. Okay, yeah, we just need to move that to over here. Cool, those tests are passing. And we can do assert game name is equal to state.name. Yeah, that's fine. And duplicate that, pop it there. So now it's receiving it from the right name. Okay. Right, the other thing that it needs to do is test. Does it need to do anything else? It just requests the inputs. I don't think it does need to do anything else. But what we do need then is to describe game.handle info, and this is going to be when it gets the request, the inputs in. So we're going to do play, comma, player name, choice is going to be choice. Right, and then we're going to need the same module tag. And our test is going to be what? What does it do when I receive the play? Well, the first thing it does is removes player, saves the player's choice. So again, we can do okay, comma state is equal to game.init context, and then we can do no reply, comma state is equal to game.handle info, and that's going to be, well, we know we're going to have a state, so that's going to be the second arg, but the first one is going to be play, and the player is going to be B1, and the choice is going to be rock, for example. Right, and so we need to assert that state.choices.rock is equal to P1. Yeah, cool, no matching function. So we need another def handle info play state. That's going to be play comma player comma choice state is equal to state do, and we're going to return no reply comma state. Now what we need to do is state is equal to map dot update and we're going to update choices, and we are going to choices, no, it needs to be map, it needs to be state. I'm going to update choices, and what we're going to do is we're going to say fn choices do and there we have traces map dot update for, and the key is going to be the choice, and the default's gonna be a list with just our one player in it. And what we're gonna do otherwise is gonna do and player that's not readable at all. Do fn players players and I have to answer. Oh, so that's passing. So it's adding players, and if we do the same thing for player 2, then we're gonna have player 2, comma player 1. Yeah, cool. We've got a couple of minutes left, which is not a couple of minutes, we've got about 5 minutes left, which is not enough to implement everything I want to. But the other thing this should do is cast to itself to request judging. So we can do context dot subscribe, and the topic's going to be game dot name. And then we're gonna do okay, comma state is equal to game.net context, and we're gonna do no reply, comma state. I really want to make sure here that I'm checking for the correct state as well. Game.handle in fact, it's just one of these that we need. We do assert receipt judge, I think. Okay, cool. State.broadcast. I really want a self topic in there. State.self topic, and the message is going to be judge, and that's going to fail for a whole bunch of reasons, right? Self topic's not found, so what I want to do is in my init tests, I'm going to do assert state.self topic is equal to game context.name. That's going to fail now. And here, pick, and in here, self topic is self topic. How we're looking? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Don't care about the state there. Only question here is we are broadcasting before we're changing the state. Is that going to be an issue? Let's have a view at the docs. Do we need like a broadcast after? It's handle info, so we could use send after, but that means we're not going through subscribe, which is not great. Okay, so I think that brings us to time, and that'll be one for me to figure out over the next week or so before the next result, the next recording. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.